How can you ignore what's right in front of you? The Dream Scourge is here, in the soil, and it's killing us. Oh my goodness. Are you a godlike? Our farms are dying, and the politician here won't do anything about it.
Maybe you can talk some sense into our governor. Put the fear of the gods in him.
Tempers are high, but I don't see any assassins. Yet.
Excuse me, but unless you have official business, I'll thank you not to involve yourself in our private discussion.
Did you hear that, Ignacy? You should be taking notes.
Ah, of course. The Adiran envoy. Ambassador Hilgard sent a missive telling me to expect you. How delightful. You speak with a measure of authority, but I caution you to remember who's in charge around here.
Now that's what I call a first impression. As you can see, I was just proving a point to our esteemed governor.
A cart full of spoiled vegetables. You call that a point?
Ha! Emerald Stair used to be a lush garden for miles around, and now I don't even recognize it. First came the invasive species, roots and mycelium growing overnight, as though nature itself had gone mad. The Dream Scourge has twisted our lands, our wildlife, and now, our farms. Then there's no time to waste arguing with bureaucrats.
I like her already.
I believe that we can restore the land, bring back its soul and its sanity, cut off the Dream Scourge at the root. Our governor would rather ignore the problem. He doesn't trust animancy as his father did.
They do. And that's the kind of reckless behavior I'm trying to avoid.
Reckless is all we have time for. Before we can deal with the Dream Scourge, we first need to understand it. Unfortunately, new experiments have to go through him.
Once again, bureaucracy stands in the way of getting things done.
I'm just trying to stop Chiata from hurting herself. Animancy is dangerous when you're shooting in the dark. I see you're unfamiliar with animancy. You don't appreciate just how dangerous that could be. Are you going to tell her about your family's basement? Or should I?
How dare you use that against me?
I know it was an accident, but look what it cost you. We can't let it happen again.
While we argue among ourselves, the Dream Scourge is tearing the living lands apart. Tearing our people apart. Really? Unexpected from an Adiran. But how could I refuse an offer like that? Well, Governor, looks like I'm taking some time away from my duties. I'll trouble you no more.
Your request is denied, Chiata.
I wasn't asking.
Your responsibilities are to the settlement. Turning away from them sets a precedent that I cannot allow.
Everything I have proposed has been for Fior, and you still refuse to cooperate. Under the circumstances, I don't have much of a choice.
Then neither do I. Chiata Castel, from this day forth, you are banished from Fior Messiverno.
Whoa, you're banishing her for that?
What?
Ignacy, we can't lose our brightest animancer in the middle of a crisis.
Your pupil has gone too far, Quilici. Take her and leave. You're still a guest in my town, but to us, Chiata is an outcast. Perhaps. But I can't just let her continue to poison the minds of my animancers.
They aren't your animancers. Your father understood that.
Don't bother, old man. He isn't his father. I've done all I can for Fior Mesivernal. But you haven't even tried. Now limp back to your giant house like a good dog. We should talk somewhere private. Meet me at my house due west by the workshop.
I'll find us another bedroom.
By tradition, the governor's manor is open to the public.
I've got a powerful feeling we weren't supposed to see this.
Ignacy. Where is Ignacy?
I'm sorry you had to witness that spectacle. Jet is a spirited animancer, but she can be intolerable at times. Whatever you may think of us, I welcome you to Fiorme Siverno. Quilici wants us panicking over what he can't even prove. If there's a threat to Emerald Stair, it's that old man and his fear-mongering. Don't waste your time on him. Be my guest. Take her away from here. As far as I'm concerned, she's your responsibility.
This Nimdude wouldn't see a Balrog coming if it did a little dance right in front of him.
If there's nothing more, I have a city to run. I knew I heard someone snooping about. And you have the gall to confront me like a common criminal. This conversation is over. That is not a topic for discussion. I'll hear no more of this. You go about your business, and I'll go about mine.
We should let this one go.
That did not go as I had planned.
What did you think would happen when you confronted him so?
Well, my first idea was to mess up his house. Maybe break a window or two.
Perhaps I should thank you for showing restraint.
I'm sorry you had to see that. What an asshole.
Giata, some manners, if you please.
I thought she was being polite.
We're on the verge of extinction, but our governor is too busy protecting his fragile ego. What does he know? He isn't even an animancer.
You did challenge his authority.
I know, but... curses. Without Fiorme Siverno, I'm hardly even an animancer. My tools, the workshop, all gone. We'll have fewer resources to work with, but anything's possible. At least now I'm free to study whatever I want, on my terms. The Dream Scourge has been a thorn in my side for too long. In a way, I do. I have plans for this island, and they don't involve the Dream Scourge. But that's a story for another day.
Your parents would be proud to see such tenacity.
Anyway, listen to us babble. Let's talk about you. I never expected to see an Adiran envoy here. You've got a lot of guts showing your face in a town full of animancers. It's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. Our first order of business is the Dream Scourge, but I'm also curious about you. There aren't many godlike left these days. Wouldn't that be a coincidence? I only bring it up because Anamancy might offer us some insight into your nature. Keep an open mind. While I pack up my belongings, you can help me by... I don't even know. I just realized this is the end. I have to leave Fiorme Siverno. Forever.
Some people don't find out who they really are until they leave home.
You'll be alright. My advice, find a good tavern and learn how to prepare squirrel over an open flame.
Maybe if I focus on what I have gained, I can learn to accept everything I've lost. When it comes to the Dream Scourge, we haven't been allowed to acknowledge the problem, much less act on a solution. Today, that changes. I need help from the animancers around town, but as you can see, I'm an outcast. Glad to hear it. Your education should come in handy. Monto Pastor is in the workshop due west. He's got an invention that can help us. Elia Rossell is an authority on the undead. Her methods are controversial, but useful. She lives in a cottage southeast of town. And then there's Yvette and Remy, our philosophers. You'll find them at the docks, southeast of Fjord. Each of them owes me a favor. Drop my name and they'll tell you what they know about the Dream Scourge. We're about to make history. But first, research.
Guessing she's not much of a hunter. Might want to get extra rations next time we go shopping.
Godlike, Imperial Envoy, Research Assistant. Who knew?
Oh, I heard there was a new arrival, but I didn't expect a godlike. Welcome to our modest workshop. Well, maybe to you, but I was educated in the great laboratories of Spirento, in the halls of experimentation. But you didn't journey all this way to hear me reminisce about the old country. More than most, but less than I would like. Unfortunately, I cannot do a lick of research while my equipment is underpowered and overworked. Ha! A novel idea, that. What I need is a stronger power source. Grimoires can hold intense power, but not for long. Besides, grimoires require a wizard to draw in essence. It's too dangerous at this scale. Oh, wait. One of our rangers reported that an Adragon recently died in a western grove. Indeed, but that well is almost dry. I need more. An Adragon's heart can hold an immense amount of essence. The grove is to the west, across the chasm. You can't miss it. The rangers say a Delamgan queen holds court there. You may be able to retrieve it without violence, but most Delamgan in these parts are hostile to Keith. So you can understand why none of us went rushing over there to find it when we heard the Adragon had died. Still, Delamgan queens can be reasoned with, so if you want to get the heart peacefully, try not to kill her guards. Do be careful. Emerald Stair is not itself these days.
Well, let's go. That Atragon's heart isn't gonna yank itself out.
Don't trust any man. Trust me. Honest.
You know, I've heard dueling is popular in the Valian republics. You wouldn't think a public argument could feel as brutal, but I'll be damned if Giada didn't draw blood. No doubt. That's why I admire the resolve. Living Landers can be contrarian and combative. That's what sends a lot of us here in the first place. But it's still hard to swim against the tide with your own people, especially when it means getting them to face a hard truth. You seem to have turned out okay. You and Giada, come to think of it. She knows who she is and what she believes. She's got more clarity and conviction than I had at her age.
She has more clarity than you have now.
Hey, I am a willing victim of my own delusions.
Sometimes that just makes it easier.
Hey, don't worry. We're talking about Giada's situation.
Right. Like, what did you think I was talking about?
Anyway, this can't be an easy time for Giada, but I'm glad to have her on our side.
Envoy? Well, that was interesting, right? The woman arguing about the crops failing? Standing up for what you believe against authority. I can respect that. Of course, my method would have been run away under the cover of night, never to return, but yeah, this works for her. It's more that I don't think my belief's worth standing up for. Life's simpler that way. Anyway, there's clearly more going on here than a bunch of animancers sitting in dusty labs doing whatever they do all day. Beyond that, nah, I can't help you. Call me when you're back to facing real danger. Right, changing the subject. Pleasant dreams.
The Adra stirs, a crackle of light in a withered field. The bars stifle us. We cannot recall when last we spoke. Hollow faces in a line. What has come of this place? A hand of generosity, or a gauntlet of steel? We feel them. They bend and hone the essence of the earth. They draw from our veins like a well. What are these rituals? Eons have passed. We do not recognize these strange machines. A harvest grows, the dead rise. What do they hope to achieve? Lift the shroud from the wheel. They build walls in their hearts. Why do they not share what they make? Punished, cast out. We understand. We peer through the murky water in vain. What is the truth? Fire that burns the forest feeds the soil with its ash. We have learned much. Dream of soaring wings in your repose.
Emerald Stair has seen better days. With any luck, the turning of the seasons will favor us. Giatta Castel wants my professional opinion. What an honor! I have a few theories, but no firm conclusions. I have to ask, is it true? Did Vidaro kick her out of town? That's our governor for you. Self-righteous even in his own ignorance. Very well. I'll tell you what I know about the Dream Scourge. But first, I need some help around the farm. I'm up to my ears in chores around here, and the Revenants can only do so much. They can't do complicated tasks, you see. Anyway, I'm afraid the time has come to put down poor Silvo. You did? That was quick. Poor Silvo. He was a bright young revenant, but a very old man. Thank you for giving him peace. I'll be fine. I've lost so many revenants over the years, and I'm always such a wreck afterward. So, the Dream Scourge. I've been keeping an eye on the readings from my fields. This plague, as we know it, is a recent development. But I believe whatever causes it is older by far. Maybe even as old as the living lands. The exotic plants and animals, the twisted landscape, the Dream Scourge. They have a common ancestor. There's something about the essence in the living lands that's different from anywhere else I've seen. But how to find something so well hidden? Can something so metaphysical even be found? Not to get too superstitious, but in these troubled times, the arrival of a godlike is no coincidence. You are meant to be here. Toward what end, only you can say. Seems a little far-fetched. Then again, what isn't these days? You're a godlike, so anything is possible. Perhaps your nature will grant you more answers. Well, I'm happy to give her some good news for a change. You and Giatta are going to shake things up. As for me, I'll be keeping a close eye on my flock.
Oh, and thank you for the nightmare fuel. I really have been sleeping entirely too well lately.
I'm remembering why people find this place unsettling.
Did you hear? Remy, look what I found. A genuine godlike.
Do you think they can hear us?
Let's find out. Hello, me, Yvette. You friend? Remy, take a note. The endangered godlike's vacant gaze betrays an unquenchable thirst for violence. We heard that Giada partnered up with an outsider, but I had no idea you were a godlike. Fascinating.
It's just that we've never met a godlike before. This is a big day for us.
Giada must have sent you to be our test subject. She knows how we adore your kind. Satisfy our curiosity and we'll give you everything Giada needs to finish her research. Deal?
The information wouldn't be worth anything if we just gave it to her freely, now would it? Let's begin the examination. If you could choose, who or what would you be in your next life? Next time you go around the wheel, you might not get so lucky. Tired of being remarkable? Interesting.
My turn. Some would call you blessed. Others would call you cursed. The fact remains, you were touched by the gods. Wouldn't you say that you owe something to the rest of us? So, you believe we need your help. Interesting.
Oh, I thought of another. We all know that godlike can't reproduce. How do you plan on leaving a legacy after you're gone? Very optimistic, aren't we? I think that covers everything. Thank you for that brilliant insight, godlike. You're a credit to your dwindling kind.
So, Giada wants to know all about the Dream Scourge, yes? Such has been her research of late. Do you want the good news or the bad news?
There's no cure for the Dream Scourge, much in the way that there's no cure for an avalanche.
Giada will be interested to learn that the Dream Scourge cannot just be studied in a lab. Its nature is wild, so it has to be studied in the wild. Our machines and experiments would meddle with it too much.
And like anything affecting the soul, it must be connected to essence. Thus, if she wishes to discover more about the Dream Scourge, a Pillar of Adra would be a good place to start.
Precisely. A godlike and a scholar, too. Incredible.
Indeed. Just as Adra channels essence, so too may it provide a key to discovering more about the Dream Scourge.
Not that we'd ever be interested in such research, of course. How droll. An entity, you say? If this entity is your patron, that's all perfectly natural. But if it's something else, with enough essence and a capable animancer, perhaps you could trace this tether back to its source.
Right, and with a little fresh sake, you can follow an ogre back to its lair. Still wouldn't recommend it.
Just be careful that your tether doesn't snap back and kill you in the process.
Now that we've researched the mind of a godlike, the next step is anatomy. But we've taken enough of your time. Farewell.
Hurry, before they change their minds.
Ugh, I might have dozed off there for a bit. Were any of those words the ones we needed?
Right behind you.
Tell me what you got!
Worse than rock!
Behind you!
Worse than rock!
That's all of them. I guess someone will have to do this for the people who starve to death when the food runs out.
I was just getting warmed up.
I'm not making it up.
You're not still on about that, are you?
Me? Why do you keep insisting I have to be wrong? What about you? You're the envoy. Of all people, you should know. I was out hunting for springberries yesterday evening when I saw a group of soldiers in the woods. I didn't linger long. I didn't want them to notice me, but they were adhering. I'm sure of it. The fact that they were there at all is suspicious. I wasn't going to get any closer. I also saw the most unusual woman. She was alone, but I couldn't see her face behind the cowl and mask. An Inquisitor? Here? In Emerald Stair? What did I tell you?
Perhaps Bells, give it a rest.
I wouldn't have taken Ludwig for a walk in the woods type, but who knows?
Great. This place has seen better days. Take your best shot.
Just like the good old days. Let's go. This one's mine. Nice job. Stand back. They come mine now. Well, that was fun. That tower is for Fjord's Rangers. It's where they stand around and argue about the best route to Shatterscar.
The beacon dry. Fresh wood and tinder. We may need it.
I'm not climbing up there. The tower's barely standing.
That tower is a clear view of the mountains, the city, and the sea. You'll defend it with your life.
Listen, we'll get to the bottom of this. Not sure how, but we'll get there. I agree that this is important, Masoni, but if we don't focus on hunting, people will starve.
How is a potential murderer in our ranks not your top priority? You don't think it's real, is that it? You think I'm jumping at shadows?
One moment, please, Envoy. We were just finishing.
You've got to be kidding me.
I'm not saying it's impossible, Massoni. Only that more immediate dangers require our attention. We'll talk about it later.
Meanwhile, someone's tearing us apart from the inside.
What interest does Adir have in Fior's affairs? We've survived without your sainted help for this long, and we don't need you now.
The land wasn't trying to kill us before. These are desperate times, Captain. You must see that.
We've suspected the killer among our ranks for several days, but there hasn't been time to investigate.
Seems like a killer among the Rangers would go right to the top of the list, but what do I know?
I told you I'll do it.
We've had to redouble our hunting to feed Fior, and the bandits and Zarips are running us ragged. Every ranger we lose brings us closer to starvation. Two of our best, Monato and Verano, have failed to report back. Neither of them would fall easily to creatures they faced 100 times before.
Monato is the most skilled tracker we have, and Verano is our most accomplished archer.
I've heard of Monato. He hunted the Black Padfoot a few months back. That thing was impossible to track, but he did it.
You really think one of their own would betray them?
The only threat they wouldn't be prepared for would come from someone they trust.
As if that weren't enough, my rangers spotted a stranger near town this morning. They kept to the shadows, wearing some kind of mask.
Tell her about Durso and Casagrada.
All right, Envoy, if you really want to get involved. Two of my rangers have been acting strangely since the others disappeared. Rangers Dorso and Casagrada.
That's a powerful accusation to make. I know you Rangers are a tight bunch.
Would they really turn on their own brethren?
Both are good people, but they're connected with my missing men. And they haven't been particularly forthcoming. Casagrada has the makings of a good ranger, but he's green, headstrong.
And quick to anger.
I've seen the type. Rash and proud.
Perfect. Young, strong, and too stupid to know everyone else knows more than he does. Like a yearling splint wolf.
Right. Lately he's been pushing to patrol alone. Says he works better that way. But he's not ready yet.
Then his partner, the veteran Verano, doesn't return with Casagrada from their last foray, and Casagrada has fuck all to say about it?
Dorso is a veteran. She came up with Monato and Verano, but she's younger than them, and an uncommonly talented tracker. Monato was her partner. They had a falling out over something to do with your people, Envoy, and shortly after, Monato disappeared.
She's been distant ever since. Doesn't pipe up much in meetings or come out to the bar.
Nursing a grudge is one thing. Turning on your squad mates is another.
You don't turn on your partner without a blessed good reason. They've probably saved each other's lives 1,000 times.
Dorso's also one of the few with the skills to take Monato down, so we can't rule her out. You'd have to ask her.
She doesn't talk about it, not even with the other veterans. I feel like she blames us, but I don't know what for.
I've moved Dorso and Casagrada to posts just outside Fior. I haven't explained why, but Dorso's probably figured it out. Speak with them, and follow any leads they might turn up. I'm still not convinced either of them is a murderer, but...
It's better to be sure.
I'm sure Massoni here will be waiting with bated breath. Watch yourself in the wilds, Envoy. And Godspeed.
I can't think of much worse than turning on your squad, except having to suspect your own people. We should help them.
Agreed.